And also, there are people from Wipro as well as BITS who join the sessions in a stealth mode, which is a hidden mode that you won't see them, but they will see you. They will observe how good we conduct ourselves. So, would appreciate your responses when questions are asked. Let's make it interactive and nice and fun. The first 2-3 classes, we will set up the foundation, and then from there we will take it off. So as most of you have beautifully suggested to go with a positive point, let me start the positive point. So welcome to the new semester, the batch of 2022. My name is Ranganath, and the fun of learning infrastructure management starts right now. So we all have this question: injustice. Why bad things happen to me? Why me? Why God doesn't like me? Why he always does all of injustice happens to me? Why not somebody else? Why? Let's listen to this story. This story is about a young boy who's playing on the river banks, the edge of the water. He hears a cry for help. Please save me, please save me. So he goes and checks what is happening, who's stuck. And then he notices a crocodile is being caught in a net. The crocodile is pleading to release the crocodile from the net, but the boy is very hesitant. But the crocodile keeps crying and saying that I will not do anything to you. Please save me, please save me. The boy finally is convinced, and he starts cutting the net. When he starts cutting the net, as soon as the head is free from the net, the crocodile grabs the boy's leg in his jaws. Now the boy is crying out in tears. He says, "You dirty crocodile, you are very unfair." The crocodile starts speaking philosophy. Says what to do, that's how life is. The world is full of injustice. The boy is not able to take this. He's not worried about dying, but he's not able to digest this. In total ingratitude of the crocodile. He's looking for help. Slowly, the crocodile, his legs are slowly going inside. He's looking around for help. And then he finds a bird, and he asks this bird. The bird says what the crocodile is saying is true, because we take such care to build safe nests on top of the trees to protect our eggs, but the snakes come and swallow them. So world is full of injustice. The boy doesn't give up. He looks around. He sees a donkey. He asks this donkey, "Please, donkey, what do you think?" Donkey says, "When I was young, my master loaded me with soil linen. He made me maximum work he extracted from me. Now that I'm old and feeble, he abandoned me, saying that he cannot feed me." So there is nothing wrong with what the crocodile is doing. World is full of injustice, man. The boy is still looking around, not able to accept the explanation, and he finds a rabbit. Now asks the rabbit, "Hey rabbit, what do you think?" The rabbit says, "No, no, no, I cannot accept what this crocodile is saying. It's utter nonsense." We all have this, right? As long as somebody is saying, hey, you're good, you're good, you're good, say, yes, yes, yes. Somebody says, hey, where are you doing that? Yes, hello. Did anybody say anything? Need any help? How can I help you? Need any help? If you don't need any help, stay muted. All right, so the crocodile says, hey, shut up. Rabbit says, hey, what are you talking? So when you're talking, I can't even understand anything. You got food in your mouth. Where you're talking. Donkey says, the crocodile says, hey, you think I'm stupid? If I let this boy go, he will run away. Rabbit says, you're really stupid. Why? You idiot. Your strongest part of your body is your tail. If the boy is going to run, you take the tail and lash him. He will fall down, catch him. Now the crocodile says, okay, okay, good idea. Opens the mouth, the boy comes out, the rabbit says, run, run, run. The boy runs. The crocodile is trying, can move because the tail is still stuck in the net. It just, only the head was cut. So the boy runs, the rabbit stands and says, ha ha ha, world is not full of injustice. Injustice will be met with injustice. If you're patient, you did good, you always did justice, justice will come back to you, justice will prevail. And that ends the story. Now you might ask me a question. Sarji, there is no injustice in life. You say you're going to... No, no, I'm not saying that. Injustice, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, unfairness is a part and parcel of all our lives. It is bundled into our lives. So we just need to learn to still be fair and square and wait for good things to happen to us. Sometimes unfairness do happen, but we'll have to accept that unfairness and gain the maturity and wait for the right time to come, and then we will end up with good results. Two things. I'm going to ask a question. I ask a lot of questions, but you will have to respond. Asking questions is my job. Responding is your job. When it comes to the doubts, asking questions, your job. Answering is my job. Comprende? Capisce? Understood? Aర్థమైందా? Choligache? Purida? Samaj?
Yes,
Okay, awesome. All right, two things you tell me. One is, what would you learn from the boy? One thing that if you won't learn, what would you learn from him? Perseverance, right? Never give up attitude. You kept on trying. Crocodile, don't celebrate before you have come, you're successful. It started celebrating. It became very, very rude. Didn't even realize that the tail was stuck. Awesome. Now back to business. Let's get ready to rumble. Slides coming your way, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Are the slides visible? Is my beautiful face visible? My wonderful voice audible? Say something, thumbs
yes,
up.
sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Afraid to speak always. You speak where you don't have to speak, and you don't speak where you have to speak. Infrastructure management. So these are the books that have been prescribed. Rich Scheiser, IT systems management, designing, implementing, and managing the world. All the slides are predominantly based out of these books. So this will be a good reference for you. I'll share the slide PDF after every session. So what is infrastructure? Can someone tell me what is infrastructure? Time to respond. Stop talking to me. As well as you know, what is infrastructure? Nobody's going to speak. Nobody is going to be speaking here.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a setup that provides service.
It's a set of.
It's a setup which provides service.
Okay, very good. What else? All your hardwares, all your softwares, your communication, your network, everything is infrastructure. Your database, applications, it's all infrastructure. Let's try to understand what is infrastructure and then try to understand what is infrastructure management. Then we go from there. Infrastructure management, we'll talk about hardware, network, data center storage facilities, virtual remote access, wireless, and software. So we're going to be, this is some of the topics that we'll cover today. We'll talk about the overview of IT infrastructure systems management, organizing IT infrastructure system management. We will build a business case, try to understand the universal principles. Excuse me. Developing the metrics for measurement. The factors to design ITSM. Factor for infrastructure point of view, recommended attributes. Then the staff legislation and ethics, determining and assessing required skills, recruitment process, and the key personnel. What will you learn? In this paper, we will learn and we will acquire the ability to design infrastructure management systems, which is going to simplify the monitoring and the management process. So it can provide comprehensive view of the IT infrastructure and the ITIL framework. The information technology infrastructure library ITIL framework, you would have studied in detail in the previous semester or the semester previous to that as a part of your infrastructure and project management paper. Here we are not going to dwell into the ITIL, but we will be talking about the management concepts. So what is IT infrastructure? The IT infrastructure consists of all elements that support the management and the usability of the data and the information. So when I talk about IT infrastructure, it includes physical hardware and facilities, including your data centers, data storage and retrieval, network systems, legacy interfaces, software to support the business goals of the enterprise. I'll show you a small video on the infrastructure components that's available in a major data center. So when I talk about IT infrastructure, we're also talking about hiring, training, policy, testing, process, upgrades, and repairs. So what is this term infrastructure? The term infrastructure describes the structures required for the operation of a physical facility or a business operation which works or acts as a backbone of the business of the technology. So what is the main purpose of the infrastructure management and why are we studying this as a subject? The infrastructure management team's goal is to minimize the downtime and maintain the business productivity. They are responsible to keep the essential IT elements and services up and running. The services that the IT infrastructure management team delivers are typically behind the scenes. We don't really know. A great example of infrastructure management right now, we are using Teams. So there are cloud infrastructure. We are using software as a service. So you have infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Where there is a team that delivers from behind the scenes. They maintain the technology, they support the daily operations, such as internet, email, and data accessibility. Somebody is running so that we can conduct our classes, we can record our sessions, right? So what components are there as a part of IT infrastructure? Just give me 1 minute. Pop in now. Fix. Hardware. Servers, computers, data centers, switches, hubs, routers, all the network equipment, everything is a component of infrastructure management. Then comes your software, your enterprise resource planning, ERP, customer relationship, and productive applications. Then you have the network, internet connectivity, firewall, security. Sorry. Then we talk about meatware, human users such as network administrators, developers, designers, end users with access to any IT appliance or service. We need that, people. So infrastructure management is about hardware, software, network, and people. So basically, what is the system management? Infrastructure system management is about an activity where I'm going to identify and integrate various of these products and process so that I can provide a very stable and a responsive IT environment. So when you come and you access, the team has to give you that response. As long as you have the good internet connectivity, it should work. You should allow it to quickly sign in people. Does it have an overall objective, the infrastructure management? Yes, it is there to bring the stability and the responsiveness to an IT infrastructure. So what do I mean by stability? When I mean by stability is, it is always up and running. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's a stable environment. When it comes to cybersecurity, we'll be talking about three things. One is confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Availability and stability work together. Now, I have an IT infrastructure. And you have a lot of executives. And is their role important? Do I really need to have this executive support? Is it critical? If you ask that question, answer is yes. The executive support is very key. The problems that we might face if you don't have good executive support is very, very difficult. The issue that we need to handle here, and where you don't get the support or where you need to push for support, is the technical knowledge of the executive can be a double-edged sword. So a sword will have one sharp edge and then you have a place to hold. What if both the edges are sharp? Wherever you hold it and you cannot fight and you get your hand cut. So the knowledge of the modern executives, IT executives, are like that. Why? Why do we say that? Many executives have just enough knowledge to be dangerous budget-wise. They say, oh, no, we don't need that servers. I know that what are you talking about? You can't cheat me. But that less knowledge is very, very dangerous. They will not have enough technical expertise to fully understand and appreciate the requirements of a well-implemented infrastructure. If something is not working, they'll ask, hey, why is this not working? You are the one who reduced the budget, but now the same person will come and ask you why it's not working. Why is it not fast? Why is there so much delay? So you need to make them understand and you need to get their support to run a very successful IT infrastructure management systems today. So the next question you might ask is, okay, how will I get the support of my management? We would tell you, go ahead and build a business case. Most of the CIOs insist that we develop a proper business case to ensure how cost effective the IT solution that you're providing is. So what is a business case? A business case is a very clear explanation of the cost justification and the funds to be spent on the new system or upgraded to an existing system. What will this business case do? The business case will itemize all the associated costs of a new system, including hardware, software, and then it will compare this with the expected benefits. You need to also talk to non-IT people about the future workload. Say, for example, Amazon is a great example. When Amazon started, probably they were doing a few billion. Now they're doing in trillions of dollars. So you need to design as an infrastructure manager. You need to look for the proper future workloads and identify with the terms and the projections. So how do I go about a typical effective business case? Step one, decide on which business IT goals are most critical. Identify which system management functions are most critical that needs to be met with IT business goals. Meet and confer with the senior IT executives on the acceptance and the prioritization. Estimate all of the associated costs of implementation. Define the key benefits of the system to business. And then on the step 6, convert the benefits into dollars. Right? Because these executives only understand money. Get testimonials from customers that it is doing good. Present the business case to the executive management and define why this particular IT investment is so critical. Most of the sessions, I will try to give practical comparison on the theory. So typically you want to build a new backup system. So here you will tell what are the different items that you're going to work on or purchase. Then you will tell whether it's a one-time cost or it is a monthly or a yearly recurring cost, and whether there is a direct head or an indirect head cost. On a backup server cost one time, direct head. Backup tape cost one time. Annual maintenance for hardware for 5 years is recurring every year. Software applications one time, client application one time, but you will have to do a AMC that is recurring. Manageable switch cost one time. Multiple remote locations for additional routers and firewall costs one time. Installation commissioning one time. And then you see here down below, data center expansion cost, space, wiring and AC is always recurring. Additional power consumption cost is recurring. It is indirect. It's got nothing to do with the IT. New backup engineer space. These are all typical factors in cost estimation. Then you do the actual cost estimate. This is a typical example of business case for a new backup system. So here, what do you do? As you can see here, you are coming up with the most critical IT business goals. It is to design and deploy a world-class data backup restoration system to provide resilience. Most critical business in function that will make it useful for these departments: finance, HR, employee data, finance data, sales and customer data. Business user requirements, solution map, Dell Online Automated Backup System, which captures date created every 10-second intervals. So now we're going to put the numbers here. Backup server cost 10,000, backup tape, blah, blah, blah. All the recurring, you don't put it here. You're only putting the one-time cost. So it's going to cost the company one time $36,625 US. On a recurring cost, as we said, annual maintenance for the software and the hardware is mentioned here. Then you will have, new backup engineering costs. These are also, this is the one-time investment. Then every year, the first year, 4,500, second year, 5,306. Third one, 9,475, because the addition, here the annual maintenance contract probably for first years they'll provide free, and then after that the major expenses. Now you have given this, how are you going to convince your management? Is you will say data loss master contract, if not signed, can lead to $5 million in fines. As per the IT Act 2008, penalty of 5 lakhs and 10 years of imprisonment. So you prepare this and you present this. Excellent. Now, back to you. So are you able to follow the way I'm speaking, the way I'm teaching? Are you able to follow? Can I continue the same way, or you want any changes? Please let me know. Mention in the chat.
So continue.
Okay. Others? All right. Also send you a poll. Okay. The next is, there are 3 universal principles involving executive support. What is that? Is the first one is you can give alternatives to your boss. If it can be done like this, can be done like this, can be done like this. They hate surprises. Don't go back and tell them, oh my God, sorry, sir, I did not see this. There is a hidden cost. I forgot. I told you it will be completed in 10 days, but it'll take 15 days. They won't like it. The executives will thrive on metrics. Give them data. Before our solution was put in, we had 150 hours of downtime, but now we are having only 100 hours of downtime. So managers will generally appreciate when you simplify the decision-making process for them. And they also do not take or do not like to be blindsided by business surprises. So don't come and tell me, oh my God, I forgot this, I forgot that. No more surprises. What kind of business metrics? When I talk about metrics, it's about measurement. So business metrics is a budgetary weapon that offers powerful and persuasive capabilities when I'm going to propose a new system. So metrics that clearly demonstrate the business value of a decision, presenting meaningful business metrics with which most managers will be able to identify. Now, these kinds of metrics will secure executive support so that you can get those IT expenditures. We'll show you some metrics, don't worry. So what does metrics do? Metrics will help measuring an organization's activities and performance. Useful information, perform value of information analysis. It will identify quantifiable work outputs, check if the goals are achieved, influence the corporate strategies, and identify critical process and requirements. Moving on to see the origin of a CIO career path. So where did the CIOs originate from? Prior to the 1980s, it was the job of the finance. Then in 1980, it became IT and IT managers and directors. Mid-90s, then it became customer service. Then in the late 1900s, the CIO origin became from IT consulting, where the senior consultants and partners of the Big Five. So they were taken from there. So Big Five is Deloitte and Touche, PricewaterhouseCoopers, the those are the companies. So you can always go on the website and type, it was Big Four now. So right now in the film, in the tech industry, it's Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Meta are your big fives. Consulting, everything is big fly global, Middle East, Africa, South Asia, Dubai, Super. So now after 2000, it has become IT versus technology versus security. No more, it's in one place. CIO stands for Chief Information Officer. CTO stands for Chief Technology Officer. CISO stands for Chief Information Security Officer. CDPO means Chief Data Protection Officer. So many of the CXOs, we call it CXOs now, because you can replace. Let's call this CX. Interesting, right? Okay, now how will I organize for system management? So when I'm going to design an IT organization, so now in this next few slides, we're going to talk about how we are going to design an IT organization for a effective infrastructure management, right? Next, we'll talk about skills, how to gain people skills. So when I talk about IT, restructuring is often necessary, right? So that I can support the growth of my company, increase customer demand, changing business requirements, acquisition, mergers, buyouts, all of this happen. So when I'm doing this, there are key factors with which to base these decisions. So how am I going to do, how am I going to restructure depends on the departmental responsibilities, planning, orientation, and infrastructure process. So the basic organization, you will see how it goes deep inside in the next few slides. So basic IT organization will have a CIO, will have application development and maintenance in one department, and then you will have the infrastructure as another department, only two departments. Here they talk about how to build applications and how to maintain it. Here they talk about the hardware. Then they added one more along with the basic IT organization, application development, maintenance, infrastructure, and they said, okay, we need an admin. So this is where the COO, Chief Operating Officer, comes into. Then they said, you know what? Let's do dual management. Why? Application should have development and maintenance. Why can't we have two separate heads? One person takes care of development, other person takes care of maintenance. Same thing with infrastructure. One person will take care of technical network services, another person will take care of computer operations. Then they went in with 3 management levels. Application will have develop, maintain, technical network, computer, and custom. We can include extra methods. Then administration will have project administration, the project office, budget, and then human resource. So earlier, you can see even these types of setups are even available in smaller organizations. As the organization gets bigger, they diversify and they will, decentralize a lot of these processes and don't put, it is not people centric. It's more on level centric. So administration, project budget, and human resources. Planning talks about business and IT. So then we also have IT organizations with 3 management levels and business units. So what is a business unit? An example of business unit, one can be a Middle East business unit, another one can be African business unit, another one can be Indian, South Indian business unit, North Indian business unit. So they have the autonomy where I can further divide the applications into business and unit numbers. So they have their own development and maintenance underneath that, all related to the business unit. So the infrastructure will have technical services, network services, computer operations, and customer data. Here we have project management office, budget and finance, human resource comes under admin and planning, business IT references, and then IT architecture. So the factors to consider in designing a IT infrastructure is as follows. So the organization positions of the 4 departments can play an important role in distinguishing a world-class infrastructure from a mediocre. So there are IT organizations that will highlight on the service desk part, database admin part, network operations, and system management. A service desk, as most of you are aware, that it follows the sun methodology. It's one single point of contact. Whenever there is a problem, the customer reaches to the service desk, and it is a responsibility of the service desk to forward those requirements accordingly. So you have technical services, you have network services, you have computer services. Now, why do you have the customer service desk and support? So there you're the single point of contact where you go in and you register your problems. The service desk will take care of it. Then comes the database administration. So under the technical services, see what we had under the technical services earlier. We just had technical. So we are further dividing that into the database administration and the system administration. Then comes the network operation. So all of this come under technical services. Then comes the IT organization highlighting systems management, how that plays a role. When I'm designing an IT infrastructure, the system management group is a separate department which is solely responsible for infrastructure process determining to be the most critical. So these processes include change management, problem management, configuration, capacity storage. So all of this is available through the system management group as well as the infrastructure group. So when we talk about a real life experience, we try and talk about one real life experience as much as possible in the classes. Mirror on the wall. So an organization got a complaint stating that your employees are very rude to us on the phone when they talk to us. So what the organization did was, it did what you see is what they hear. What you see is what they hear. What do you mean by that? So they brought a television, not a television. They brought a mirror, a facial mirror that is kept completely in front of you. So just look at my face. If I'm saying, hi, hello, nice to meet you. Is that your problem? How can I help you? Hello, what? What happened? or your internet is not working, your mobile phone is not working. Did you try that? Did you try this? So when I change my face, the moment, right, the expression is what you hear also. When you're frowning, you're never speaking happy. So the expressions reflected back to them is a facial mirror, completely mirroring the mood of the voice. So this company members quickly realized the more pleasant they look, the more pleasant they sounded, and hence the orders started flowing in more. So what are the attributes? So we're going to be talking about this word process owner for the next few weeks, all the 16 weeks rather. The person is supposed to know all of these. We will, when we cross the topic, we will talk about each and individual components along with a detailed explanation of how they contribute to the infrastructure management. So you have availability, capacity, change, configuration, disaster, facilities management, network management, everything. So this is a great exam type of a question. You might get similar questions. So whenever I say important, I think it's worth for you to make a note and prepare it during your exam. So I'm not saying it will come, but it's a good chance that this can come, this question. So then when I say exam, so from exam point of view, you mark this, where you can be given certain things and you will have to do a match and follow. So how do you ensure all devices and systems are up and running? You use availability. How do you get the buy-in from users and other stakeholders for any new launch? It is production acceptance. How do you ensure latency and slowness? Android. Performance and tuning. So how do you ensure that the changes to the system is not creating a problem? So you went there to solve a problem and you landed up giving more problems. So you will ensure that the production does not create a havoc. So how do you ensure support required by the stakeholders are offered to their satisfaction? So there's a problem management. So the response, this is the expectation, this is your responsibility. The manager is expecting you to ensure that the business data is available and retrieved successfully. Your responsibility is to tune the software management. Similarly, how do you ensure that only up-to-date version software is used across all platforms using configuration management? How do you seamlessly upgrade from one system to another system? It's called as capacity management. How do you demonstrate business and client information from being protected, from being breached and protected? You will use strategic information security. How do you ensure that the business is as usual and is not affected when there is a disruption, which is man-made? So that is called as crystal, right? So that is called as a business continuity. So this happened to us during the COVID times, right? So how do you collaborate with teams using the facilities management? Okay, so let me just play you one quick video, then we'll come back here. Okay, here we go.
Listeners,
turn on my video so that you can see the. So I want to confirm if the audio is also working.
The brains of the internet.
The engine of the internet.
It is a giant building with a lot of power, a lot of cooling, and a lot of computers.
It's row upon row upon row of machines, all working together to provide the services that make Google function.
I love building and
You'll have to hear the
operating
audio
data
also,
centers.
Right? Okay.
I'm
Audio
Joe
is
Cava,
okay.
Vice President of Data Centers at Google. I'm responsible for managing the teams globally that design, build, and operate Google's data centers. We're also responsible for the environmental health and safety, sustainability, and carbon offsets for our data centers. This data center here in South Carolina is one node in a larger network of data centers all over the world. Of all the employees at Google, a very, very small percentage of those employees are authorized to even enter a data center campus. The men and women that run these data centers and keep them up 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they are incredibly passionate about what they're doing.
In layman's terms, what do I do here?
I typically refer to myself as the herder of cats.
And I'm an engineer, hardware site operations manager.
We keep the lights on.
And we enjoy doing it.
And they work very hard. So we like to provide them a fun environment where they can also play hard as well.
We just went past the 3 million man-hour mark for zero lost time incidents. 3 million man-hours is a really long time, and with the number of people that we have on site, that is an amazing accomplishment.
I think the Google data centers really can offer a level of security that almost no other company can match. We have a information security team that is truly second to none. You have the expression, they wrote the book on that. Well, there are many of our information security team members that have really written the books on best practices in information security. Protecting the security and the privacy of our users' information is our foremost design criteria. We use various layers of higher level security the closer into the center of the campus you get. So just to enter this campus, my badge had to be on a pre-authorized access list. Then to come into the building, that was another level of security. To get into the secure corridor, which leads to the data center, that's a higher level of security. And the data center and the networking rooms are the highest level of security. And the technologies we use are different. Like for instance, in our highest level areas, we even use underfloor intrusion detection via laser beams. So I'm going to demonstrate going into the secure corridor now. One, I have to be on the authorized list with my badge. And then two, I use a biometric iris scanner to verify that it truly is me. Okay, here we are on the data center floor. The first thing that I notice is that it's a little warm in here. It's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Google runs our data centers warmer than most because it helps with the efficiency. You'll notice that we have overhead power distribution. Coming from the outside yard, we bring in the high voltage power, distribute across the bus bars to all of the customized bus taps that are basically plugs where we plug in all the extension cords. All of our racks don't really look like a traditional server rack. These are custom designed and built for Google so that we can optimize the servers for hyper efficiency and high performance computing. It's true that sometimes drives fail and we have to replace them to upgrade them because maybe they're just no longer efficient to run. We have a very thorough end-to-end chain of custody process for managing those drives from the time that they're checked out to the server till they're brought to an ultra-secure cage where they're erased and crushed if necessary. So any drive that can't be verified as 100% clean, we crush it first, and then we take it to an industrial wood chipper where it's shredded into these little pieces like this. In the time that I've been at Google for almost 6.5 years now, we have changed our cooling technologies at least 5 times. Most data centers have air conditioning units along the perimeter walls that force cold air under the floor that then raises up in front of the servers and cools the servers. In our solution, we take the server racks and we butt it right up against our air conditioning unit. We just use cool water flowing through those copper coils that you see there. So the hot air from the servers is contained in that hot aisle. It raises up, passes across those coils, where the heat from the air transfers to the water in those coils, and then that warm water is then brought outside the data center to our cooling plant, where it is cooled down through our cooling towers and returned back to the data center, and that process just repeats over and over again. To me, the thing that amazes me about Google and the data centers is the pace of innovation and always challenging the way we're doing things. So when people say that innovation in a certain area is done, that we've kind of reached the pinnacle of what can be achieved, I just laugh.
Cool, right? So that's basically what infrastructure is all about. So it's a very, very good start for you to understand, what the infrastructure can bring to us. So that's amazing to see how much work goes into the Google, right? Excellent. Excellent there. Now, next component is we saw the infrastructure, we saw, the different departments that can comprise us into a successful IT organization. Next one obviously is a staffing for system management. So what do I mean by that? So when I talk about the staffing, we need to understand the most important resource for an organization is not computers or your networks or your hardwares and your softwares. The most important resource is people. So when I talk about people in IT infrastructure management, I will need to understand the skill set and then the skill level. So what is a skill set? The skill set is nothing but a technical familiarity with a particular product or a software or an architecture or a platform, right? So that is a skill set. Then comes your skill level. Your skill level is the length of experience, the depth of a technical expertise, and the variety of the platform familiarity an individual has acquired over the years, and they can apply for a given technology. So if you look at this particular slide, where we are talking about the mainframe environment skill set matrix, we have operating system, IBM, database management, CICS, network systems, LAN, WAN, everything. So you give a skill level. So these are all the skill sets, and this is your skill level. So when it comes to the operating system, are you a junior level or a senior level or a lead level? So we prepare a skill set matrix for a given organization in the IT infrastructure world. Then how do you rank the skill set? The score from 1 through 5. 1 is you are a fresher, you don't know anything, you're just showing up. 2 is basic, you have very limited knowledge. 3 is you have some direct experience, but you will also require some time to time support. 4 is proficient, you're capable and experienced, you demonstrate proficiency, you're able to independently, with little help, and will be an expert one day. Then number 5, you are an expert, you're fully capable and experienced, you sought for help by other departments, you need no assistance to complete any tasks, you demonstrate the capability, and you are seen as a subject matter expert. All right. So this is a team member skill matrix where, let's say, a Trevor James is a business analyst. He's looking for advanced training in Six Sigma. He's a Microsoft Office, is competent, terminology, PC hardware, infrastructure. So Lewis Kent is a Python programmer, is competent. So we have a skills matrix done like this. So what are the traits that an employee employees measure? When I come to competence, I'm looking at the expertise, the experience you have, and the trainability. So what are the tools that I'm going to use? The tools that I use to understand the competence is through resumes, aptitude tests, and situational judgment tests. Reliability is about ambition. Integrity. So you have personality tests, references, peer evaluations, and value tests. Then you have emotional intelligence, self-management, social skills, and political skills. So you interview, personality tests, situational judgments, and performance tasks. Well, class is still 4:15, right? And from next week, probably we'll take a 5-minute break in the middle. So when you are staffing, how do we go about the staffing? Should we go with in-house people, or should we go with the consultants and the contractors? The consultants and the contractors do have the benefits and the drawbacks. The benefits of consultants and contractors are immediate availability. They pay only for the effort expended. They have the ability to accelerate the schedule, and they can supply rare or unique technical expertise. So what are the drawbacks? High costs, potential sources of morale problem, occasional inefficiencies, hidden expenses. So when you are looking at it, if I want to develop a career path, 3 steps for employers to enable career path to stay on top. You determine your short-term career goal. The short-term career goals, 3 to 5 years, and long-term career goals is 10 to 20 years. So basically what you do is you sit down, you discuss with your manager your short-term and long-term career goals and request for in attending them. So then what you do, you take the initiative to stay abreast, investigate websites, join industry organizations, and start developing certification programs. After we have done that, we have the customer service. So what is the purpose of customer service? So the purpose of customer service is very important. Now you will be surprised to see that how so the good customer service has now become an integral part of any well-managed IT department. So it is not about IT. So how do we go about with a good customer service? We have something called as an SLA, which is called as a service level agreement, which is a negotiated document between a representative from an IT department and a representative from an end user department concerning the quality of service. So some of the common SLA metrics is the percent uptime, availability. Some of the common SLA metrics are average response times, escalation procedures for problems. A company is hiring IT professionals now often require employees to have traits such as empathy, helpfulness, and patience. Now, a question should come into your mind which says, what is the difference between empathy and sympathy? Right? You would have heard empathy. Empathy is the feeling. So let's start with sympathy, that we know sympathy is feeling for someone. Oh my God, look at what happened to him, what happened to her, is sympathy. I'm sorry, you are in this deep pain. Empathy is feeling with someone, sharing their emotions, seeing from their view. Empathy is feeling with someone, sympathy is feeling for someone. So you as a person have to empathize. The companies are looking, okay, oh my God, my company is losing so much money, I feel for it. I need to be more helpful, I need to be more patient, I need to be more resourceful. I need to get the sense of teamwork. So, when it comes to good customer service, because the IT has evolved as a service organization, what are the 4 elements of good service customer service? So you'll be identifying your key customers. First is you need to identify my key customers. Then you need to identify the key services of key customers. Then you need to identify key process that supports key services. And then these key suppliers that support the key processes. So who is a key customer? You are in the business. You ladies and you gentlemen have got a lot of customers. Who do you think is a key customer? One whose success critically depends on the services you provide is a key customer. If your friend is standing here and talking and not allowing you to take a class, then he is not a key customer. One who is satisfied assures success. As an organization, one who fairly and thoroughly represents large organizations, one who frequently uses or whose organization frequently uses your services. One who constructively and objectively critiques the quality of your services. One who has significant business impact on your company as a corporation. So he is your key customer. One with whom you have mutually agreed upon reasonable expectations. So these are the characteristics of the key customer. One who fairly and thoroughly is making it a real important part to play in your organization. So you identified the key customers. Now you will have to identify the key services. Interact directly with the customers, understand the wants and the needs of the customers, negotiating and managing the realistic customer expectations. So the infrastructure managers need to clearly distinguish between the service their customers need to conduct the business versus the services they want, but may not be able to cost justify. So this is where in the IT we talk about, even with the software development, we have the must-haves and the good-to-haves. You will require certain things. You are okay to have certain. So basically, a very unreasonable expectation is one of the major causes of poor customer service. So you think, okay, you want this, but you don't want to pay for it. That service is not provided, so your customer service is considered as a poor customer service. So now you know your key customer, then you know your key services. Within that key service, we have the key process. We're going to give you some examples which will help you understand this. These processes comprise the activities that provide and support the key services of the customer. Say, for example, you have a legal department, and your legal department may need a service to retrieve records that have been archived months previously. So when you talk about the activities, the key process of that key activity, right, of retrieving records is backing up the data, archiving and storing it offsite, and retrieving it quickly for customer access would be the key processes that support the key service. So similarly, if you look at a human resource department, they may need a service that safeguards the confidentiality of payroll and personal data. In this case, the process that ensures the safety and the security of the data involved would be the key. Now, we have identified the key customers, we have identified the key services, then the key processes within that services. And now we need to identify the key suppliers. So the fourth element of identifying the key suppliers, good customer service, individuals who provide direct input in terms of products or support to the key processes. So in our example, legal department, some of the key suppliers would be the individuals responsible for storing the data offsite and for retrieving it back to make it accessible for users. Similarly, for the human resource example, the developers of the commercial software security products and the individual responsible for installing and administrating the products would be key supplier. So the legal department will have the person who's storing your tapes offsite is a supplier. He is supposed to bring it back to you to make it accessible for the users. The human resource example, people who are developing a commercial software product and the individual responsible for and administrating the product would be the key suppliers. Now we are talking about how do we integrate these 4 elements of good customer service into the business. So basic workflow model, you have suppliers, some process happens and then you get the output. Now we have revised this workflow process model to have a key customer whose reasonable expectations are met. Okay, the expectations has to be reasonable. Then you have the key services where the critical to customer success. Then the key process will add value to it. And then you will have the key suppliers who will provide this high quality input. So you see this key customers, key services, key process adds value, provides high quality. Again, the key suppliers add value to key process will add value to key services add value to key customers. So here the reasonable expectations are met, which is very, very critical for their success, and then it adds value to provide a high quality input. So how do I integrate these 4 key elements of good customer service? In a customer supplier matrix, I have key customers. Customers who use IT services, whose use of IT service is critical to their success and whose expectations are reasonable. Key services, IT services that are critical to a customer's success and whose delivery meets customer expectations. That is the key service. Key process is processes that produce the key service required by key customers. Key suppliers are the suppliers who feed in the key process. So when I'm going to make the process, whether it is customer oriented or supplier oriented, the key customers and key services are customer oriented phases of customer supplier matrix. And the supplier oriented phases of the customer supplier matrix are the key processes and the key suppliers. So this is how you integrate the key elements of good customer service in the IT industry. So basically, what is a service metric? When you talk about service metric, I'm talking about some of the pre-negotiated service level agreement based measures of the quality of service that needs to be delivered as seen through the eyes of the customer, not from your eyes, through the customer's eyes, where they measure the quality of service delivered is called as a service metric. They measure the quality of input to the service provider becomes a process metric. See, these are all very, very subtle changes you need to pay attention to, because these questions can be posed to you at the exam level, where you need to identify the difference for a given metric. You might be asked to find out whether it is a service metric or a process metric. The 4 key elements of the good customer service is the high level of trust in your company and the people customers deal with, knowledgeable employees who understand what customers are talking about, the company and its employees not wasting the customer's time, friendly employees who go the extra mile for the customers. So what are the 4 cardinal sins that undermine good customer service? Whenever you don't get a complaint, you assume that your customers are satisfied. Hell no. You need to ask, Don't expect the customers to come and complain. No complaint is no good news. Then you might have customers as IT professionals, different departments, who are not direct customers because they are not from outside. So the second cardinal sin is thinking that they are not, that you do not have any customers. I'm your customer. You are my customer. You are my customer. If you don't complain, I don't think that I'm taking the class perfectly. That's why I ask. Then measuring only what you want for customer satisfaction. Just you measure something to show that you are good. Then last is presuming that written SLAs will solve your problems and the disputes. So you as an assignment, I'll keep giving you small assignments on a regular basis. So kindly request you to take a snapshot of this. Go to your organization, identify your key customers, identify your key services for those key customers, identify the key process that supports and the key suppliers. So this brings us to the end of this session today. Thank you very much for the wonderful participation. And I will share the presentations to you now. So next week we don't have a class. So all of you have a great new year. We wish you a very, very happy new year, prosperous new year. Enjoy your holidays. Merry Christmas to the people who are celebrating Christmas. And I will see you in the first week of Jan. Thank you. Take care. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.